kepada seluruh warga UPSI untuk memastikan kita mencapai bintang. Kita kena bersatu, kita kena bersama untuk memastikan kita semua cemerlang bersama.
Saling menghargai, saling berbudi, sanjung tinggi tradisi.
Akademik dan akhlak terpuji, seimbang dan gemilang. Engkau dan aku, langkah berpadu, mewarna cipta yang sama.
Genggamlah tanganku, lakukanlah segera.
Ayo cemerlang bersama, dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. Ayo cemerlang bersama, dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. Suara kita semua, nada warga setia.
Janji terpatri, megah terajui, visi pendidikan negara.
Ayo cemerlang bersama, dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. Ayo cemerlang bersama, dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. I love UPSI. You love UPSI. We love UPSI. I love UPSI. You love UPSI. We love UPSI. Ayo cemerlang bersama, dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. Ayo cemerlang bersama, dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada.
Kepada seluruh warga UPSI untuk memastikan kita mencapai bintang. Kita kena bersatu, kita kena bersama untuk memastikan kita semua cemerlang bersama.
Saling menghargai, saling berbudi, sanjung tinggi tradisi.
kepada seluruh warga UPSI untuk memastikan kita mencapai bintang. Kita kena bersatu, kita kena bersama untuk memastikan kita semua cemerlang bersama.
Saling menghargai, saling berbudi, sanjung tinggi tradisi.
Akademik dan akhlak terpuji, seimbang dan gemilang. Engkau dan aku langkah berpadu, mewarna cipta yang sama.
Genggamlah tanganku, lakukanlah segera. Ayo cemerlang bersama dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. Ayo cemerlang bersama dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada.
Yesulah kita semua, nada warga setia.
Janji terpatri, megah terajui, isi pendidikan negara. Ayo cemerlang bersama dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. Ayo cemerlang bersama dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. I love UPSI. You love UPSI. We love UPSI. I love UPSI. You love UPSI. We love UPSI. Ayo cemerlang bersama dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada. Ayo cemerlang bersama dengan semangat membara. UPSI di puncak persada.
Attention to our beloved participants. Kindly ensure that your mic is muted throughout the session. If you have any questions to be asked, feel free to drop your questionnaires in the chat box. We highly appreciate your cooperation in this matter in order to ensure our program runs smoothly. Thank you. While we are waiting for the session to be started, the ICT team is providing the technical support behind the screen. Meanwhile, enjoy the music and we shall begin in a few minutes' time. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the webinar on environmentalism in science education from local and international perspectives. I'm Jaswani here as the moderator for today's session. This webinar is organized by the Kelab Alam Sekitar, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, with the support from the Strengthening Human Rights and Peace Research and Education in Asian, Southeast Asia, SHAPESI. It is my pleasure to greet and introduce everyone here. Welcome to Associate Dr. Nurul Bahia binti Abdul Wahid, Advisor of Rakan Alam Sekitar University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Mr. Joel Mark Baisa Beredo, Executive Director Strengthening Human Rights and Peace Research Education in Southeast Asia, SHAPESI, and the team from SHAPESI, our distinguished speakers, faculty members, RAS community members, and amazing participants. Welcome to the webinar on environmentalism in science education from local and international perspectives. By embracing the advancement in digital technology and virtual communication, today we are bringing speakers from Paris and Malaysia. Without further ado, let's start with our first speaker from UNESCO. We have Sir Bernard Combs as our first speaker, who plays a pivotal role in supporting UNESCO's education for sustainable development ESD initiatives. As a coordinator, he focuses on implementing ESD for 2030 priorities, emphasizing accelerating sustainable solutions. Additionally, Combs serves as the education sector focal point for biodiversity, ocean, and earth shatter. His efforts extend to reinforcing cooperation with other agencies and stakeholders, particularly in communication, education, and public awareness related to biodiversity, water, oceans, cities, and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, and the environment. He will share about the environmentalism in an international perspective by focusing the role of UNESCO in providing the platform for the teachers around the world. Please join me in welcoming Sir Bernard Combs to the virtual stage with a round of applause.
Thank you for the round of applause. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the introduction. As you heard, I am busy with many different files, but today I want to speak about in the role of education and environmental issues and point out what teachers can do, should do, and should aspire to inspire others to do at the same time. I will share my screen. Should be able to see my recording. So yes, I'm going to talk about education and environment, and in particular, education and climate change, since climate change is the big priority issue that everyone is talking about as basically tomorrow. The COP28 will be starting in Dubai, and the world's attention is focused on that. And as the UN Secretary General has pointed out, he has many very short sentences to explain things, and this is an older one. We're in the battle of our lives, but it's a battle we can win. One of the more recent one, he said, It's like being in a car and having the foot on the accelerator. We need to figure out how to um, address climate change better. And then not too long ago, he said, well, we are no longer in a planet that's eating up with basically we're moved into a planet that's boiling up. So what can we do? It's uh, it's clear this year, last year, we have seen natural risk, natural disaster becoming more and more abrupt and more sudden, uh, more rain, more forest fires, more more tornadoes, and more people being affected by it. So you'll say, so what does education have to do with all that? Well, education has an important role to play in it. And clearly, people have noticed it, in particular, young people. You've all heard of Greta Thunberg. She's one of them, but there are many, many others. And we also have had scientists joining into these, let's say, demonstrations or showing that they are not pleased with what is currently happening. And even municipalities and local associations have also joined into saying we need to change the way we think about climate. We need to change the way we teach, we learn, we act. So clearly, education is at the center of that. And it's not just providing knowledge and facts and figures and saying, oh, sustainable development or climate change, that's for the science teacher. No, it needs to be it needs to be taken care of more on a more larger basis. Education has to be seen as a process that's lifelong. That's basically it's not because uh, a country says that education is compulsory until a certain age that it stops there. We are constantly learning, and so we need to see how to transform education so that it actually brings in what we need. So yes, there's more and more awareness, but there are some obstacles, and UNESCO has carried out a number of studies um, that have shown that there's still a lot to be done. One of them was to look at the curriculum of countries around the world and how was climate change and environmental issues integrated into those curriculums. So out of 100 countries, only half of them mention climate. And often it was just mentioned in very broad terms, and only 1 out of 5 mentioned biodiversity. We also did a survey of young people. Uh, 70, more than 17,000 young people participated in the survey from all over the world, asking them, what do you think of the climate change education you received when you were in school or while you're still in school? And quite a few of the young people who responded were actually secondary school students. And they said, yes, well, we did have some, but I cannot really explain correctly, what climate change is. Um, how, what can I do also? They also pointed out that one of the reasons was that they felt that their teachers were not really ready to be able to do that, which matched a survey we did with Education International, which is basically the network of all the teacher trade unions around the world, where we did a survey of teachers and we were asking those questions. And many teachers said, yes, we're ready to teach climate change, but either during our teacher training um, college days, we didn't learn much about climate change, or I have so many things to teach. I don't know how to insert even more. That's a problem teachers are facing around the world. Uh, Every time the ministry says, "Oh, there's one more topic that you should teach," but the timetable is so tight that it's difficult. Or some said, "Well, we don't really have the tools for doing that." Um, Another survey that we did again with young people was that to say that basically 75% of young people are concerned about their future and what can be done in terms of climate change. A few numbers. Last year in Pakistan, the floods destroyed or damaged nearly 27,000 schools. 27,000 schools, that means at minimum 27 or maybe 30,000 teachers affected by it, and a lot of children affected by it. We also reviewed the countries and their, where did they put their emphasis. So 80% of them said, yes, we put a focus on climate change education in primary and secondary school. The problem is that, yes, it's good to put a focus, but sometimes that focus needs to go beyond just the facts and figures. What young people are asking for and what some teachers are asking for, how can I take action? What can I do as a citizen to address these issues? The number of disasters has increased throughout the years. Number of children affected by those disasters has also increased, including people having to be displaced because of that, which means that the way you teach, teachers need to be able to be more flexible, more mobile, which is not always easy. And so only from these various surveys, only 40% of teachers feel really confident about teaching climate change. And then only 55% of them said we have received real training when we were in teacher training college or during in-service training about climate change. That's one thing quite a few teachers and teacher trade unions are saying. It's very nice to tell us to teach a new topic or a new issue, but if you do not provide time for us to get some training on it, it becomes very difficult for us to actually teach about it. And then we also asked countries, in particular ministries of education, are you putting money into your budget, your education budget into climate change? And they said, well, not that much. So there again, there's a need to change things. So how does UNESCO address some of this? We have a framework and a roadmap until 2030, uh, which has 5 priorities. One of them is about policy. In your education policy, your national education policy, you need to put sustainability and environment and climate into it. But then also in your national sustainable development strategy or your national biodiversity strategy, you have to make sure that there's a real chapter about education. The second priority is the learning environment. We can no longer just say climate or environment is for the science teacher. Any teacher can talk about climate or environment in their classes, in literature, in history, in geography, in mathematics, but also it's to take what is called a whole school or whole institution approach. Teaching about climate change cannot just be 2 hours in in the learning cycle. It needs to be basically becomes a project for the school. It needs to involve the director and the management of the school, but also if the school has a cafeteria, needs to involve the people working in that cafeteria, and needs to involve anybody working at the school to say climate environment is an issue that concerns all of us. And us as a community, as a school community, we are going to see how we can address it. The third priority is, of course, educators and teachers. We need to provide better training opportunities for teachers. Um, a webinar such as this one is one example, but we need to find other ways to engage the teachers to provide them more training um, and make it interesting, make it fun, because even adults like to have something that is interesting and fun. The fourth priority is young people, youth. As we've seen, They are very concerned as to how things are taught, and their big question is how can we engage? How can we participate? How can we have a voice in the decision-making processes within our schools, within our communities, within our countries? And the last level is community at the local level. It's at the local level that we see things when things change, things improve. It's at the local level that we can come together and say, as a community, how can we deal with this issue of climate change? What has it done to our community? It could be that your community is near a river, so one of the issues is floods. How can we ensure that when there is floods, we avoid as much as possible too much water in our houses and all that. So as was introduced, I personally work on the youth. I facilitate or coordinate the youth priority and the community priority. And s- there it's really to engage both communities, local communities, young people, schools, and other organizations to say, as communities, how can we engage? Last year, there was in New York what is called the UN Transforming Education Summit, which brought countries to New York, teachers, activists, who all discussed the role. How do we change education so that we can be ready for the changes that are coming? Because basically, climate change or even any environmental issue, it's the world is rapidly and constantly changing. We saw it with COVID, suddenly a pandemic. What can we do? How can we adjust? How can we adapt? Some schools didn't open throughout the pandemic. Some schools went to being virtual for all that time. So the Transforming Education Summit looked at many, many different issues, and one of them was the issue of environmentalism, environmental education. And what came out was what is called the Greening Education Partnership, to say collectively we all have to do something, because often the problem is to say, oh yeah, we have to change education, okay, teachers will have to do this or that, but it's not just the teachers, it's everybody who has to change. So this partnership brings together governments, it brings together um, UN agencies, private sector, universities, civil society, young people, the the experts in education, the experts in climate, and the decision was to focus on four areas. One is about greening schools. So how do you make schools more better suited for environmental issues, including teacher training colleges and universities. The second area is greening curriculum. We have to change the curriculums. We have to change the teaching programs to ensure that environment and sustainability is part of them, and that it is not, again, restricted to, oh, that's for the science teacher or the biology teacher. It's to say environmental issues, these crises have to be tackled by teachers no matter what subject they're teaching. The third area is greening teacher training. We have to transform how teacher training is done, and in particular, ensure that environmental issues and climate issues are at the basic level. All teachers should know about it. So it should be more or less among the first modules they get at the teacher training college, rather than what still happens in many places around the world is, oh, sustainability. Okay, you will get a module in your last year, your last semester, which no, that's not enough. But it's also to change the way the education system operates, because the education system, people tend to think education system is one big thing. No, actually, it's made up of so many layers that sometimes do not talk to each other, that we have to change that. And finally, the other action area is about greening communities. We have to find ways to make sure that we have lifelong learning, life-wide learning opportunities for people who are in school, not in school, and to provide them with ways to l- learn better or adapt better. So greening schools, so we have to look at more whole institution approaches. Currently, within this partnership, we have 56 countries who have signed up saying this is what our country needs. And there are more than 500 organizations. And one of the items they're working on is a quality standard on green school. I have some colleagues in my section who are working on this, developing a set of standards saying, if you want to be a green school, these are the steps you need, the minimum steps you need to do, including in part, one of them is to how does your school engage with the community? This also applies to universities. How does the university engage with the local community? Too often, universities are a bit like islands. They engage with other universities, but they don't directly engage with the community they are based in. Greening curriculums. So, as I said, greening curriculum is to make sure that climate change, environmental issues are at the center of the curriculum. There again, we have 56 countries, and then even more, even more organizations uh, working on this. And one of the items is greening curriculum guidance, basically providing some basic guidance of what should be some of the learning objectives in terms of climate change for early childhood, for primary, for secondary, for technical and vocational education, for higher education. There again, I have some colleagues working on that, and there'll soon be a consultation on both this and the greening school standards um, on the first draft of what it is. As soon as the links are provided, I will share them so that if you are interested, you can take a look and provide your opinion, because this is another way we engage with teachers from UNESCO. We often share some teaching and learning materials we're developing with teachers and ask them, okay, try them out. Tell us what works. Tell us what doesn't work. What doesn't work gets thrown out, doesn't stay in the final version. So greening teacher training and education systems. There again, the the work there is to see what what kind of guidance can be provided to teacher and training organizations to say, okay, how do we adjust? What do we need to change? Because some teacher training organizations says, yes, but we've been doing it for so many years. You know, we've been around for 150 years. Um, you know, what is that going to mean for the organization, the diplomas we provide, and all that? So there's a whole discussion on that, and it's also a discussion with the Ministry of Education, yes, but in some countries we also talk with the Ministry of Environment, because in some countries it's the Ministry of Environment that provides environmental education, and we having discussions with both ministries saying, you know, you need to learn to work together, and you need to do more things together. And then on greening communities, it's basically how do we prepare communities to face these challenges of climate, of floods, of earthquakes. Um, and there, they're working on a guidance document, but there are many more interesting things that are being done. In particular, working on the idea of what opportunities can we provide for intergenerational learning. Older people, older generations can teach younger generations about addressing some of these issues, but also um, bringing in people who are experts in dealing with river management, with forest management, and explaining that to the community, to saying this is why we need to, let's say, plant more trees, or this is why we actually have to clean the drains next to the houses, because in case there's a big storm, if you have branches in the drain, for sure your house will get flooded. So we are very hopeful. In the last 5 years, just through the UNESCO Education for Sustainable Development Program, we were able to reach about 38 million learners, 2 million teachers, and more than 3.5 million young youth leaders. So we feel that if we, as one element in this partnership, was able to do this in the last 5 years, in the next 5 to 7 years, as a group, we should be able to do even more, which is, you would say, very optimistic, but we need to think positive. Because if you always think of, oh, these are the challenges, these are the obstacles, you will not move forward. So now a few couple of examples to hopefully inspire you. Um, NADID, Namib Desert Environmental Education Trust. This is an education center in the middle of the desert, the Namib Desert in Namibia. What is it's a very action-oriented type of center. Schools in Namibia actually go there on study trips. They go there for several days. The school, several classes with their teachers go there. They are they they stay in different little bungalows, and basically at the end of the first day, they're given a challenge. Each bungalow is told you need to save as much water as possible. You need to save as much energy as possible, and they have meters and they measure. So the next morning, the Nadi, the staff goes, okay, bungalow one, your results are not so good. And by the end of their stay of 3 or 4 days stay, they figure out how to lower their energy consumption, their water consumption. That's one thing. The other thing is that they're taken out, just like the picture shows, they're taken out into the desert and shown that even in a very dry, hostile environment, you can still find water, you can still find food, you can still find different things. And this center actually works a lot with the Namibian government and the ministry because for Namibia, it's a great way to introduce sustainable issues to school children and to teachers. We even did a couple of regional workshop with people which are yeah, UNESCO. The liaison between UNESCO and countries is called national commissions. We brought several people from these national commission into the desert, had them do the same challenge. The first day they were not too happy because they thought they were coming to the usual workshop, nice chairs, nice food, good speaking. We said no, we are putting you in situation. This is how in Namibia teachers are trained, school children are brought out to the outdoors. Next example, Singapore, not too far from you. Um, Actually, I lived in Singapore for 6 years, way back. And already then there were efforts to be as green as possible. So there, this particular program is this link between communities, teachers, and students. Third example, Eco Peace. Um, this is a program that has been going on for quite a while with teachers from Jordan, Palestine, and Israel, working in particular on water education. They share one river, the Jordan River. And the issue is how, as teachers, this is a common good for all our three countries. How, as teachers, can we explain that to our students, and how can we encourage, better understanding, better comprehension between our different communities? Now we move to the other side of the world. We move to Peru, the Kuzi Kwazi School. This is a school where they introduce indigenous and traditional knowledge into the school curriculum, bringing in elders, bringing in other people to say culture, which actually for UNESCO is an important element. Culture is not just art and film; it's also the way we are, the way we behave, and the traditions our families bring to us. So they 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 work on that. They work also on linking issues of uh, these are the plants and these are the foods that we used to eat, our parents used to eat. We need to continue to eat them in particular because some of them are adapted to climate change. From Europe, Hamburg, the city of Hamburg, there the city has created a master plan for education for sustainable development, meaning that all it happens to also be a state within Germany, meaning that all the government um, institutions are also called upon to integrate environment. Schools are given stipends for if they save enough energy and reduce their carbon footprint. The Ministry of Education gives them little stipends for the following year so they can do better. And there again, teachers are encouraged, are provided with opportunities to learn more about different issues. Then the last example, Sandwatch. This is something that started in the Caribbean in UNESCO associated schools on basically going to look at how our beaches. This has evolved into citizen science education and has become in some places more like a community-based development project. How as a community can we take care of our coast and the sea in front of us? So of course there's of course the issue of climate change, but also the issue of pollution, plastics, and learning from each other how to better do that. These are just a few examples. If you want more examples, see, yep, oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Um, we have a project or an initiative in UNESCO called UNESCO Green Citizens, which is um, finding and highlighting people from all around the world who are doing sustainable development, who are doing environmental projects, climate change education projects. They can be teachers, they can be uh, local young people, they can be just regular citizens. So if you're looking for inspiration, go look at that because teachers need to be able to also remember to be inspired to see that sometimes action-oriented activities are things that can be done. So just to finish up, um, I put a quote there from Saint-Exupéry as I'm sure you all have heard of The Little Prince. The Little Prince is one of the books he wrote. He wrote many other books. And he said, in life, there are no solution. There are only motive forces, and our task is to set them acting. Then the solutions follow, which is something teachers need to remember. You, as a teacher, are impacting on students, and sometimes you do not have all the answers to some of the questions they might have. But what you can do is you can show them opportunities for them to take action, for them to work, for them to adjust to the changing environment. As a teacher, it's also uh, basically any occasion can be a teaching moment. Um, my mother was a history and geography teacher. As I said, as I mentioned, we lived in Singapore, and from Singapore we came up a number of times to Malaysia. And I remember she would use any opportunity to say, "Oh, you know, let's talk. Do you know when the rubber plantations came?" And as a kid, you'd be like, "What? Mom, why are you asking me this question?" And then she would start explaining. Or when we visited Malacca, she would say, "Okay, the the spices. So who came to get the spices? It was the Portuguese, and then the Dutch, and so any occasion was an occasion as a teaching moment. So that's something teachers need to remember. You you are a teacher while you're in the school, while you're in the university, but when you go out on the street, you're still a teacher. And the other thing to remember is that all of us, each one of us, can be an educator and a teacher about something. Some people you put them in a forest, they're completely lost. They will not know how to get out of there. Others, they hear a song, and then 2 seconds later, they can sing you a song And you're sitting there like, how did you do it? So yes, we have to remember that. So we need to. This is a collective thing. Teachers are an important element, but teachers need to remember that they're not alone. They can rely on other teachers, but they can also rely on the community they are within. They can find people that can tell them, okay, this is how we do it. I'm a craftsman. This is how I do things. And they need to remember that with this transforming of education, um, yes, of course, they are, let's say, mandated to provide enough information and skills so that the students at the end of a certain number of years get a good grade on whichever exam is there. But that's not the most important. The most important is to provide skills and competences for people to be able to adjust and evolve to something that's constantly changing, constantly evolving. Um, I remember we did an expert meeting one time, and one of the participants, we were talking about how do you introduce ESG into programs, and he said, well, it's a bit of a challenge. It's a bit like trying to ride a bicycle while there's an earthquake ongoing. You need to keep your balance. You need to be able to be flexible. So my final words are, yes, teachers, you are key, but remember you're not alone. And you need to be able to say, okay, let's try and do things differently. And also, if you are a biology or a science teacher, remember, take your students out into nature. Not just show them pictures of the nice forest and the nice trees or the orangutan or whatever. Take them out to see it and get them to experience that. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Thank you for the excellent presentations. I will now post questions from the Q&A box. For your kind information, we have 362 participants throughout the session. Question 1 is asked by Atasha, a chemistry pre-service teacher from WEBEX. Thank you for insight, doctor. If the teacher are not ready, how and what are the actions required?
I would say it's a step-by-step approach. Um, I am sure a teacher is ready for something or some element. Uh, I think the big challenge with climate change is people say, "Oh, climate change." It appears like a big thing. What is needed is to break it down into something that makes sense. Um, how how does how do you see climate change? Um, so, for instance, if you I did we did some training with media professionals, and we did a meeting in Bangkok. And one of the days we went out to the fields, to the rice paddies, and the we asked the farmer, so how is it going? And he said, well, what I've noticed in the last few years is that the rainy season comes much later, and it's more and more intense. That's really about climate change. He didn't use the word climate change. So for a teacher, yeah, what actions are required is to see already within your community, within the school area, what are some of these critical changes that have not been noticed, And how how can you actually work on that and use that to start teaching more about climate change? Because as I said, um, young people or even adults, more and more adults asking, what can I do to address the issue? So it's not so it yes, of course, you can teach about the facts and figures, the carbon cycle, the water cycle, but you need to be a bit more concrete. But it's a step-by-step approach. It can also be related to what are some of the interests of the teacher themselves. Um, if you're interested in certain aspects of things, maybe start with that. It's not it is a learning process. So you can't have everything right then. I mean, it's the same when you start any job, you're not always ready. So you have to do this transition step by step.
Thank you for the detailed explanation, Doctor. We have another question to be asked. Question 2 was asked by Aminin from Facebook. As a teacher who are still in training, what is your advice for us?
You are still in training, and actually, you will be always in training. I'm always in training. There's always new things coming up, and now as a UN organization, we're always challenged by something new. So, being always in training means keep what I do, and this is one of the things I do. The first thing I do when I start work in the morning is that I've subscribed to a number of email newsletters on some environmental issues, some biodiversity issues, and I just read quickly some of the headlines, and then sometimes, oh, this seems to be an interesting article. Read about some of these things. Uh, there are more and more podcasts, and there are more and more short videos on some of these issues. This is one of the things is that you need to be constantly learning. You need to try it out. So yeah, it's a lifelong process. It's training is throughout the time. And there again, you can call on others to help you out. You can don't be afraid to ask questions.
Hello, Bernard. Can you hear me? Yes. So it's quite interesting to see and understand the idea that you posed just now. But and I can see that it is quite interesting and inspiring approach that your mother did, and the way you grew up and understanding the concept of, I believe at that time is not mentioned as ESD, but it is ESD, right? But as a lecturer myself, I will seeking for the tools and platform, because basically the things that you show just now is what we did, but it not really framed as what you said just now. So we really hope that we can get connected with a huge platform, bigger platform, so that our students, our teachers get inspired and become proactive. So that will be a very interesting insight that you shared just now, and I believe our students get inspired, and they are after this they are going to through another process, to so that from this session they will get some ideas. Then they have to work on certain projects so that they can practice whatever they have learned and the sharing that you did. So we hope that maybe you can share with us what are the platform and how we can get connected with GPE and greening education partnerships, and also the UNICEF. I saw the image down there in your slides. So perhaps you can share on that.
Yes, I will put some links into the chat to get
Bernard,
to.
you are not. You are muted.
I said I will put some links into the chat, and then to get you starting points, because in part there's a huge forest of these learning learning platforms. So just to point you to a few of them and get you started, and then I will also put some links for joining the JEP and a few reports that will also give you some ideas. The one thing you have to remember, you need to adapt whatever you're teaching, in particular to your local reality. Yes, it's good to connect local and global, but for it to make sense, and sometimes even for you yourself as a teacher or a lecturer, is to connect it to the local reality and what are the local needs. And it will make more sense, in particular here I'm thinking more about for primary school teachers, to really connect to that, because when the young students go home, the parents always ask, so what did you learn today? So if they talk about something that is from the current priority in the community, then the parents will feel better, shall we say. So I'll put those links into the chat.
It is so inspiring to see how the UNESCO support the teachers' fragmented effort and the approach used. I believe that we have learned a lot. The greening education is really a systematic approach. For your information, Dr. Bernard, we have similar projects under our service learning. We certainly will look for chances to get connected with like-minded. Now let's hear the practice sharing from our own teacher, the second speaker. We are proudly bringing on to the screen Dr. Lee So Im. To my fellow audiences, with 34 years of teaching experience, she is an excellent chemistry teacher and serves as the Vice President of the Malaysian Teachers STEM Association. Additionally, she holds the role of ECHO Training Center, ETC, National Coordinator for Malaysia, recognized as an iconic teacher and edu influencer by MOE Malaysia. She has received numerous awards including Top 10 Women in Southeast Asia 2023, Global Women in Leadership Award 2022, Global SDG Women Warrior Excellence Award 2022, and Individual Community Contribution Women Glamour Award 2021. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lee So Im to the virtual stage with a round of applause.
Thank you, moderator, distinguished guests, and also our distinguished speaker, Dr. Bernard, Dr. Zainon, and all the participants. Okay, as introduced, I'm Lee So Im. Yeah, I'm chemistry excellent teacher from SMK Seri Bintang Utara. Just for a moment, let me share my screen. Allow me to share my screen. Okay, so I get inspired by the sharing from the Dr. Bernard. I'm also strongly agree with Dr. Bernard says that environmental problem or issue is not only a matter of the science teachers. It's supposed to be taken care by all the teachers, and also supposed to taken care by all the peoples in the world, right? And Malaysia, any country, it should be globally, right? It's everyone's a matter. It's not just a science teacher. Yeah, I strongly agree that. And just now you also mentioned that there's only 75% of young people concerned about this environmental problem. So I think we teachers and the student, yeah, the pre-service students, is our job, our responsibility to educate our students, or maybe your coming students, so that every one of us taking care about our environmental problems. Okay. So before I start, maybe the moderator, you can share the link that the class point, or those you have the, you can scan the QR code here. Later, will invite you to join me some simple activities. So you can scan this QR code, and also maybe if you click the link in the chat box, the class code is 54562. So moderator, that will share the link to the chat box. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so yeah, I can see now have 9 people, 10 people keep increasing, joining. Okay, so keep joining. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so before I start, I would like to draw everyone's attentions about the facts about paper and also paper waste. So if you look at the photo shows here, there's a lot of waste paper in the world, or maybe in our community and any other places. So according to the World Counts, yeah, these are the information I get from the World Counts. It says that more than 199 tons of paper has already been produced, yeah, in the 15 seconds. And it needs about 2,700 liters of water used to make just one ton of paper. And it is about 50% of the waste of business is composed paper. And only recycling paper is about 1 ton of the papers only recycling, right? So this is a major issue that every one of us should play the important role and put up our hand in together to solve this problem, right? Okay, so because of this, then I think that I should do, for example, you look at my topic is about green chemistry, and I'm happy that just now I saw one of the slide from the Dr. Bernard talk about green, yeah, the green chemistry or green community and so on, right? Okay, so for me, my slot is I would like to share my success story, like I have been conducted the SDG in my classroom. So that I can embark the green chemistry and also environmental issues to my students. So for me, there's 4 ways I conduct this SDG in my classroom. Okay, for example, like I use a lot of digital interactive tools, problem-based learning, project-based learning, and also some other home-based learning basis, right? Okay, so first of all, how do I use my story number 1 is about using various digital tools to promote the paperless. So for example, like you can see on my screen, there are many, someone didn't mute the mic, right? Okay, thank you. I still hear the noise. Okay, so as you see in the screen, I just show part of some of the digital tools that I use. For example, we use Quizy, Kahoot, and so on, right? So by using all these digital tools, I use that to do my classroom management, the assessment quiz, and also at the same time, I can embark the 4C skills, the 21st century learnings. So by using all these apps, that we can reduce the using of paper. So I promote paperless, right? So for example, like class name list, I do not print a lot of class name list. I just use, sometimes I use Excel, sometimes I use Word to type the name list. And the Quizy also, I didn't print, like for example, my chemistry paper 1, it has 40 questions. If I'm going to print out everyone, one set, I will need about 20 pages of paper, right? So if I use a Quizy, or I use a Google form, or maybe quiz in the Telegram, or maybe in the Teams, I will less use the paper. So this is what I say, that people say that we can promote the paperless. So at the same time, when teachers shows the example to the young students, then our learners also will follow this, right? Okay. So this is my story number 1. Okay. Yeah. So beside that, in Malaysia, we are have a lot of occasion, and because we are multiracial, like we got Chinese New Year, the happy CNY, we got Eid Mubarak, we got what else? Christmas, birthday, and so on, right? So for this activity, for this occasion, normally we will buy physical cards and then we'll give to our friends or our relative or maybe our teachers and so on. So I would like to ask the audience, okay, you may join me, sorry. So like, for example, when you want to send the greeting cards, you prefer hard copy or digital? So let's start the quiz. Okay. So I would like to let you see which one is the popular one. Okay, our A is hard copy, B is digital. Seems like digital. More people like digital. Yes. Yes, come on, B. So never mind, is follow your choice. So usually use a hard copy or digitals. Okay, I'm going to close the quiz in a couple of seconds. Okay, until 1 minute 30 seconds, I will close the quiz. Okay, yes, yeah, I'll close the quiz. So if you see here, I will give everyone. This is also another paperless, right? So we can give the student the awards. Okay, so you can see here, we have. It's blocking me. 63% using prefer to use digital, and 37 of you prefer to use the hard copy. Never mind, it's okay. There's a choice. Okay, so I think at this era, and then actually we have a lot of environmental problem. I think we should promote paperless, right? Okay, for me, I prefer paperless. Okay, so my story number 2, yeah, regarding just now the card. So during there's a 2020 and 2021, because our country, we have the MCO, the movement control order, that, and then everyone cannot go back to hometowns to celebrate the Hari Raya. So me and my teacher, I suggest I come up this idea. So since everyone, the Muslim teachers, students, and friends, they cannot go back their hometown to celebrate this Eid Mubarak. So I come up with the idea that student design the digital cards. Although my students are chemistry, okay, I teach them chemistry, but I make them to design the card by using their card. They should include at least 2 or 3 the symbol of chemistry, symbol of element. For example, H for hydrogen, right? S for sulfur, and so on. So these are the awesome and beautiful cards prepared by my students. So after that, after there are plenty, more than 100 cards prepared by my student, so we come out the idea that we combine all these cards, become a video. So we make it a video. You can see here. Okay. So I would like to run this video so that you can hear. Give me a second. I'm Dr. Lisa In, Mr. Muhammad Haizul Nizam, and Mr. Chia Sia Hong. We are from the chemistry panel of SMK Sri Bintang Utara. We took the opportunity to celebrate Hari Raya Aidilfitri by inviting our students, the young chemists, to deliver their wish to all Muslims digitally using the symbols of the elements. We are the first using this activity to celebrate the Hari Raya in the new norm condition. We specially designed so that our students can apply the concept of chemistry, use their digital skills correctly, and have sense of humanity to foster digital citizenships. Every greeting cards produced in full of love. I felt calm and happy to see every cards produced by our young kids. So, we would like to present this love to all Muslims in Malaysia and all over the globe. Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri, maaf zahir batin, happy Eid Mubarak to all Muslim, and happy holidays to all non-Muslim. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you. Okay, so by looking at this video, the cards prepared by the students, at the same time, this activity not only teach the student about the chemistry, but also teach student about respect the religious from others, and also the creativity, the use of ICT, and then without using the hard copy of the paper, we can reduce the paperless, we embark the paperless. So at the same time, we can help us to promote the SDG 13, 14, and 15. So these are the one that we promote, and the students also like this. So after that, beside this Hari Raya, we also do for the Teachers' Day and other occasion as well. Okay, so I would like to ask students, how about how do you think about this activity? You can give some reflection about this activity. Do you like this activity?
It sounds interesting, Doctor.
Yeah, you can just write in the, yeah. So just write very quick word club. Okay, I will close this in 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, I will close this. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close now. Okay, thank you for joining this activity. Okay, so next I will show you my so after we post this one in my YouTube, and then get appreciation from the former Minister of Education in his social media, Dr. Razidin. Okay, this is my story, and then I move on to the story number 3. So for the story number 3, I use the concept of problem-based learning. So I give the title for my student is about save our source from plastic pollution. Plastic is actually considered a covalent compound. So when the Form 4 student, they study about the covalent compound, so I give them this topic. So all the topics that given to my student is not simply, we just want, because we want to embark the SDG, and then we just simply do the activity. The activity must included or entitled with the SKP, yeah, the curriculum, the chemistry curriculum. So for example, for this topic, so this activity, this title given to the student, and they should come up. They have undergo this 4 activity. For example, first step, a student form a group, then they gather the information, and then have the group discussion, design idea, and after that come up with the presentation. So the design idea, students have to come up with the idea how they can save out the soft from the plastic pollution, right? And then so for this activity, a student need to do about teamwork, time management, way to solve problems. Yeah, of course they need to use the digital skills and also innovate a design. And then we have the virtual Q&A. So, and this is the outcome. So some come up with just the idea, some come out with a campaign, and some even use the codings, design a special car. They say this car can put into the water and it's waterproof. It can collect the rubbish from the sea and maybe the river, and so on, some others lah. So for this activity, and then after that, I send this activity or this outcome from the student. British International Education Associations for the International STEM Young Youth Innovation Competition. We are very lucky and very proud about my student. They won 3 awards for international. Then we are the one and only one country from a school from Malaysia, represent Malaysia. This one is in 2020. Okay, story number 4. Story number 4 is about home-based learning. So this is I call it household-based. Yeah, to DIY, turn the household waste to DIY fertilizer. So this activity is also by it can be done by group or can be done by individual. So like last time, because in the pandemic, so I do it individual. Student collect the household waste, and then they have to measure and they do the statistic and so on. So after that, so indirectly, when we have a student doing this, so they will know that they must didn't waste the households. Some food they maybe can save it, right? So this one in line with, we can promote the zero hunger, so that students appreciate the food. And after, if the food is already waste, then it can turn it become the fertilizer, then it can be used on other purposes. Okay, after that, a student come up the brochure, okay, about their project and how they want to sell this fertilizer. So at the same time, also can promote the creativity and the young entrepreneur. Besides, they love the environment. Okay, this is my story number 4 lah. Yeah. Okay, next story. This is my story number 5. Story number 5 is about the problem-based learning also. This is about, the topic is about repack lunchbox with non-plastic materials. So usually lunchbox, maybe some will use the PVC lunchbox, right? After that, they will just throw away, or maybe they use a PVC plate or whatever. So I come up with this idea so that student can do the activity at the same time. They didn't lack of learning in chemistry. They learn chemistry at the same time. They also doing the SDG activity. So actually for me, my suggestion or my idea is, as a teacher, when you want to teach something, we didn't purposely or focus say, oh, today I want to teach you SDG. No, like Dr. Bernard said, SDGs is not when you want to teach that for a particular time. It should be continuously. And students also should be learning by doing. So when they do the experiment, they found out how the way can replace, what are the material that can replace the lunchbox by using non-plastic materials. So they come out a lot of ideas. Some even use a bamboo or banana leaf and so on. Some use the starch, right? They make some container and so on. So the green polymer. So at the same time, after this, the project, I send them for the 2 international competition. Then this is our result lah. They joined the BIICE, the international in 2021. There are 4 teams, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze. And also the same BIEA, but this time we only got 1 award, but each champion lah for this BIEA competition. So at the same time, meaning that I'm teaching my chemistry, and then at the same time can embark my student, can embark the student about the SDG knowledge, and then love our environmental and well-being, and also can embrace their creativity and innovative, become more innovative. So I think this is supposed to be last story. I cannot share a lot. I just share because my time is about 20 minutes only. My story number 6 is about project-based learning. So this project-based learning is the title is about composite material. So composite material is in chemistry form 4, the last chapter. So I did I did it before the COVID also, but during the COVID, no choice. I need to do it individually. So it's actually quite simple idea. So I just need the student to use at least 2 materials to combine so that it become a composite materials concept. So for this one, my student just use the cement and the used towel. Used towel blend with the cement, right? Cement liquid, and then you can see it can become very nice vase. And this vase is actually already painted. So at the same time, we also embark the student about the arts, the creativity as well. So you can see they have the presentation and so on. So meaning that we teach the student like we can recycle many things, like from recycle, reuse. After that, the unused material, we can turn it become a very nice material. Maybe you can use at home, or maybe you can sell it, right? Okay. So for this one, yeah, you can see. So I create the Padlet. The student post their product and write the comments, the details about their products. So these are the photo that the product made by my student. Is not get from the internet. It's from my student. You can see it is very, very nice. Okay, so this activity is these are the awesome product for my student, and I think that this can embark student creativity and also the environmental awareness. And you see the impact. Yes, I got this. Then I sent this project. I saw there's a competition organized by UPSI, so I sent this project for the competition, and I won first place, first prize. Actually, I didn't plan to participate in this competition, but just happened. That's why people say, do more, you get more, right? Love what you do what you love. And then, oh yeah, one more. So beside doing the project, sometimes you may do the campaign. For example, environmental awareness campaign, the World Water Day, which every year I will do this one. Everyone know, right? 22nd March is the World Water Day. So I create, either you can use a Padlet, you can use a Padlet, and then students just post their reflection about this day. But at the same time, we also need to tell the student, appreciate the water is not on the 22nd of March only. It should be every day. It should be daily, every time, anywhere, anytime. So just now, 7 story, success story from my classroom. And then I send my student to join the environmental days competitions. And then these are the students participate. And then 2 of them won the awards. Then the second and third awards. So if the student willing to join the participation, the competition, or they willing to complete the project, either is home-based, project-based, or problem-based, if they can do it well, meaning that they love the environment, they were taking care in the environment, no matter how, anytime, anywhere. That's my understanding, and I believe my student also do that. So for me, environment is no one's property to destroy. It is everyone's responsibility to protect. Yeah, this is the quote from the Motri Agati. With that, I think I end my session. Okay, last activity. Last one. Can everyone just write your reflection on this? Yeah. you may write, so I share you about 7 story. Which one do you like the most? Or maybe you can give some idea, some any words about the activity that I shared to you. Okay, let's see. Yes, then you everything. Yeah, you can may write more. Which one do you write the most? Okay, so yeah, paperless. So I give you star. Yes. Wow. Okay, in 1 minute, I will, in 1.5 minutes, I will close. I would like to show interesting and activity. Okay, thank you. Amira. Thank you. Okay, come on, 1.5 minutes. I will close the activity. Okay, I'm going to close now. Thank you. Oh, never mind, I leave it here. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you. I'll give back to the moderator.
Thank you for the excellent presentations. I will now post questions from the Q&A box. Question 1 is asked by Nisa, one of our WEBEX participant. Bagaimana dapat idea untuk related alam sekitar dengan kimia, sedangkan kimia sangat abstract? The translated version is, how do you get the idea to integrate environmentalism in chemistry, since chemistry is abstract, Doctor?
Thank you, Nisa. Nisa. For me, the idea, if you very passionate, you love your job, I think the idea will come along when you want to do the activity. For example, when I want to teach about another one, I didn't share it here, is like, for example, chemistry in Form 5, there's a new topic about the cosmetic. Last time don't have cosmetic. Now it had cosmetic. So I did before. You have to be more creative lah. So for example, I asked my student to do the DIY facial mask. So I bring the aloe vera. At my home I plant aloe vera, and so I just cut the aloe vera and bring to school, and then they can do it. Yeah. At the same time, beside that, how to become more get ideas. So you have to think. Sometimes you have to think without the box. Number one. Number two is you maybe can search into the internet, and also you can look at the YouTube. There's a lot of activity. So sometimes the activity is not saying that, oh, this is for chemistry, right? I remember there's one point that Dr. Bernard says that you have to adopt. So some activity, maybe it conduct in the English or conduct in other geography activity, but it can be adopt and you modify it, and then you can switch to your syllabus. Yeah, that is what I think lah. Yeah. So, and then the activity should be more engaging to the student. And the very, very important is we must give empowerment to the student. For example, do not fix too much about the procedure or maybe the gadgets or whatever, the ways that the student want to do the presentation or they want to conduct the activity. So give the student empowerment, but they have to achieve the goals that we set. Yeah. Is that answer your questions?
I hope it did. It did, Doctor.
Yeah. Yes.
We'll move on to the second question. Hold on. We are waiting for the screen to appear.
Yes. Yeah, never mind. While waiting, maybe I would like to add like maybe the students, you are pre-service teacher students, right? If you want to find more idea, then you may read more, and then the more you read, then you got more ideas to come to organize your classroom activity. Beside that, you also may refer to the expert lah. So makes a lot of friends, right? Yeah, and we may have the group discussion.
Sorry to say that ICT team is having some connection problem. I'll be reading the question posted from the question box. Question 2 is asked by Nasharuddin from Facebook. I think when you shared, you gain experience. It is very similar to what Sir Bernard said in greening education. We could be creative as well, but teacherly, how do you manage your time to do everything within school syllabus?
Oh, that's a big challenge for all the teachers, right? So many teachers, maybe they will say it's like, I don't have enough time syllabus cannot finish. So, for me, I always plan ahead. So you should, as a teacher, you should have a very good time management. Okay, so you have to plan, and you can use as a way that we call blended learning. So for example, might be you're going to teach 1.2, 3.1, 5.1, and 4.7 together in one activity. So that one activity, particular activities or project, it might include a few the SKP, the SP. So that's how I manage my time. And also you have to think about, let's say you are given, you plan to give student about a project-based learning. Usually project-based learning is about at least about 2 or 3 weeks. So before that 2-3 weeks, you have to give the project to the student first, so that they have time to do their research, to do their preparation. When after the 3 weeks, when your syllabus just reach that part, then the student can just do the presentation as well. So meaning that for me, the time management and how you manage you must know your DSKP very, very well, your curriculum very, very well, so that you have to, people say what, merungkai English. You have to you have to explore the DSKP, the curriculum, so that you can do the mapping. Yeah, you can do the mapping very, very well. Yeah, so that you will not left behind any bullet of the curriculum.
Doctor,
Yeah,
we
is it
have
answering
one more question.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. The question will be, the question was asked by Anish Shafika from YouTube. How do you motivate your student to participate in those activities, and does the community support you?
Oh, okay. Community is like my panel, my school, my headmisters. Yeah, all of them support me. Yes. Actually, this very important role is you must have very good connection with your colleagues, right? Beside that, for example, like me as a chemistry teacher, of course, I was using my lab. So I have a very good rapport with my lab assistant, so that everything we want, the lab assistant will help us to prepare. Yeah, they also play a very important role. And then my teachers, yeah, no problem. My colleagues, so sharing is caring lah. For example, the idea most probably is come up from me, but I didn't like I just do alone. Together we can work far. But alone you can't do it very, very well. So sharing is caring lah. Teamwork very important. And what else you say just now? I couldn't remember your question. I just remember about the team support. The other one is about what? Sorry.
Doctor, how do you motivate your students to participate
Oh,
in these
motivate.
activities?
Yeah. So for the student, for example, yeah, like just now, remember I showed the class point. So when you answer correctly, I give you the star, right? So the gamification, that is also one of the motivation, right? It's free. Just click the star, the student like. If teacher give me 2 star, also I'm very happy. And also we have to like let the student know why they are doing this activity. Okay. So another thing is we need to educate the student. Learning is not just for the examination, just not because to get the grade, the good grade and good score only. Okay. Beside that, there's a lot of things like the value, the human value, the well-being, the love the nature. That is also important. Then I always tell them, for example, when after the school, when show that student when they want to apply the university or maybe scholarships or maybe in future for the work, I don't think your employee will just see you got how many A's. There are plenty of students, also candidates also have the good result. Why must I give you this opportunity, or why must I hire you to become my employee, right? So you must be have something special than other candidates. So what are the special? So you do this other like presentation, the global activity, global exchange program, and then environmental program. I think people like this. People like the SDG goals, especially the big company, right? That Samsung and others. So they actually like this. Even like Sunway also, Sunway College, Sunway University, they use a lot of the SDG goals things, right? I think it will go like that to motivate. The student must know, have a very clear picture what they why they want to do that activity, what's the goal, what's the objective, right? Yeah.
Thank you for the explanation, Dr. D. This practice sharing definitely will inspire our participants to get creative in bringing the environmentalism through pedagogical activities and beyond. As a conclusion, among the several key points are the environmentalism advocacy is not just a science teacher responsibility. Burnett shows how the teacher around the world care and ingrain the care to the earth via various projects. Teachers shouldn't work in silence, they can work along the community. There are practical ways to do so, they embedding activities throughout the syllabus. Since we have exceeded the time limit, we'll move to the photo session. Before we leave this session, we would like to invite all the attendees to turn on the camera for a photo session. We have 12 pages in total, so be ready. In 2 minutes time, we'll start the photo session. Okay, is this everyone ready? Okay, on count of three, 1, 2, 3. Next page. 1, 2, 3. Third page. 1, 2, 3. Fourth page. 1, 2, 3. Fifth page. 1, 2, 3. We have 600 participants in total who attended the webinar today. Thank you so much for attending our webinar and making it a successful event today. As for the attendees from UPSI, here is the QR code for the Mychamp. Thank you for your cooperation in making this webinar a success and see you again in the future. Bye. Hold on, team ICT is preparing on. presenting the QR code. Belum letak saya.
Staring at the bottom of your glass, hoping one day.
While we are waiting for the links and everything, thank you very much, Bernard, way from Paris. We are really glad to have you, and we believe that it is a very encouraging insight. And Dr. Lee, you are so great. The students is really looking forward to get those ideas and put in their lesson plan. See, everyone's clapping. They are really happy with those ideas. They have a lot of assignments with those lesson plan. I really believe that you give a lot of idea for them to become creative. And as for Bernard, we also believe there are a lot of ways that we can become more ESD aware, so that and green our own systems. And it is a lot of things that we can bring home and way forwards. But I think we shall bid a goodbye, and now our participant will have the chance to get their attendance and everything for our own record keep taking. So thank you very much, and see you again next time. Bye.
Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go. And you let her go. Oh, oh. And you let her go.
Thank you for organizing.
But you let her go. Cause you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go. Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Your kind attention, please. We have kita ada pencara yang masuk juga. So we have two different QR codes. So pelajar boleh isi link kehadiran pelajar, and for the doctors who have joined, you may fill in staff attendance link.
I need somebody to hear, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. I'm going under, and this time I fear there's no one to turn to. This all or nothing way of loving got me sleeping without you. Now I need somebody to know, somebody to heal, somebody to have, just to know how it it feels. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you help me escape. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved, and I tend to close my eyes when it hurts. Sometimes I fall into your arms. I'll be safe in your sound till I come back around. For now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love.
Remember those walls I built? Well, baby, they're tumbling down. They didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound. I found a way to let you in, but never really had a doubt. Standing in the light of your halo, I got my angel now. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had you break it. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Baby, I can see your halo. I know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need in more. It's written all over your face. Baby, I can feel your halo. Pray you won't fade. I can feel your halo. Halo, see your halo. Halo, feel your halo. Halo, see your halo. Halo, hit me like a ray of sun, burning through my darkest night. You're the only one that I want. Think I'm addicted to your light. I swore I'd never fall again, but this don't even feel like falling. Gravity can't forget to pull me back to the ground again. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had you break it. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Baby, I can see your halo. I know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. It's written all over your face. Baby, I can feel your halo. Pray you won't fade. I can feel your halo. Halo, see your halo. Halo, feel your halo.
kepada seluruh warga UPSI untuk memastikan kita mencapai bintang. Kita kena bersatu, kita kena bersama untuk memastikan kita semua cemerlang bersama.